Yep, it's true. Not only do we have the Legend of Zelda movie, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and also the Super Mario Galaxy movie, but it seems like a bunch of other movies were just leaked, and it's kind of crazy. It seems like Nintendo is fully building their Nintendo Cinematic Universe, kind of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the MCU. But now, this time around, is Nintendo. Recently, we just got this post right here that was leaked for a leaked code at Illumination. Now, this might not mean much to you, but supposedly the next sort of project that they're working on is PP, which could mean Princess Peach. But then, as it says here, this could be also Poppy's Prescott. But usually, when you look at Poppy's Prescott, it's usually PO. But for Mario, it was the first letters of the name, so this would be PE. So, depending, this is potentially a brand new Princess Peach's movie, or this could be something completely different. But also, we have a bunch of other leaks that could go into the Nintendo Cinematic Universe that's going to be much more than just video games alone. Like a Metroid movie, a Star Fox movie, and also potentially those Pikmin shorts. Now, I don't know if you consider it, but Pokemon would also technically fall into that, because we got multiple movies of Pokemon, and this shouldn't really be a surprise. So it really seems like the Nintendo Cinematic Universe is in full-fledged. Did I mention Luigi's Mansion? Well, that's coming too. So honestly, I think that this could be great in some ways and also sort of bad in other ways. Now let's talk about those. Well, the great things about it, we can see more diverse explanation on the story that the game sort of provided. Like for example, The Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Zelda movie or the Legend of Zelda games really go off on a well note. Because when you look at it, all of the games have this deep story, this deep meaning that is really, really nice to see, and sometimes you just want to see more. Sometimes you just play a game because the story's so good. Kind of like I was doing with Hyrule Warriors. I'm not the biggest fan of Hyrule Warriors, but I did really enjoy the story, so that's pretty much where that's going. Luigi's Mansion, maybe you can see everything that happened, when it happens to King Boo, and what's with all the friends, and why is every single mansion they go and explore just cursed in some ways. So this definitely could be very, very well it. But now, if we look at sort of potentially the negative sides of it, well, of course, the number one thing here is potentially cutting back on video games, which is what Nintendo is sort of known for at this point. The video game era, the video game series. This might be cut back because they are focusing and working with Illuminations to make a movie really, really good. So essentially, they would probably say, okay, we're going to dedicate, I don't know, a month of our time and then do that. That would mean the month that they could have been working on the game could be, delaying that game, delaying that project. I don't know if I really like this idea because I like to watch movies, but it has to be a specific kind of movie, to be honest. I really do enjoy the Toy Story series. I really did enjoy the Mario movies. Those are really cool. But hopefully, once they do another movie, hopefully it's not something like, okay, let's spam through a whole bunch of things that we can jingle keys in front of our head and there you go. Because honestly, that's one of the big drawbacks for the Mario Galaxy movie to me, because it's just like a whole bunch of cameos, if you want. Just a whole bunch of cameos that doesn't really have like a deep, rich story, if that makes any sense. So hopefully the next ones are like that. I also seen some leaks and rumors about a Super Smash Bros. Movie. Now this one definitely would be really interesting. How in the world would you do a Super Smash Bros. Movie? Well, first off, I believe that this is how they would do it. Well, maybe Mario is the main protagonist. He comes from directly the Super Mario Bros. Movie, not the Super Mario Galaxy movie, because that one was like a weird sequel in my opinion, but he comes back from one of the Mario movies, and then he starts like a fighting journey because there's like a fighting tournament, and all of a sudden all these characters from different reality. Now this Super Smash Bros. Movie would be like the thing, kind of like the Avengers, if you will, the Avengers in some way, once the cinematic universe of Nintendo is actually fully built. So we're probably not going to be seeing a Super Smash Bros. Movie anytime soon. But this just shows that there's going to be a lot of movies out there, especially if you're a big fan of Nintendo movies and you love the video games and you just want to see more story-driven things, more story-driven gameplay potentially. recently we got a post of Miyamoto. He wants to sort of make the universe of the movies sort of like the main pulling point, where the games would draw the information from the movies instead of the other way around. So that one I found really, really interesting, because he wants to make like the timeline and not be restricted by the games and lore that they already had. So technically the Legend of Zelda might be a little bit different, the lore of that. The Luigi's Mansion could be different as well. We already saw with Mario and Mario Galaxy. It's a little bit different because there's going to be a spoiler here. 3, 2, 1. Because Peach and Rosalina are sisters. That doesn't really happen, so it seems like moving forward in the games, that's what actually is going to be happening here. Overall, I find this to be really interesting. The cinematic universe is in full force, and we can definitely get really excited over what's next for Nintendo. Because, hey, this is something to really look out for. We could probably see some more shorts, like those Pikmin shorts, or that could have just been leading into nothing burgers. It could be a Pikmin movie, because who knows? We've already seen movies sort of like this that are like tiny little small creatures that go and compete in the real world. Who knows? That could be what it is. Like, for example, Turbo. Turbo was a movie like that. You're essentially a little snail that everything else is super like big to you because you're a snail, and you compete in the real world by like going to race around because you want to be a race car driver. That could be what Pikmin could be about, because maybe you want to garden things or save the bad guys, and then there's actually people running around. That's definitely what that could be. Star Fox could be about Fox McCloud and his friends pretty much having a Star Fox experience, but instead you are just going to be sitting there and watching the trailer, or essentially watching the gameplay go. It definitely could be like, okay, so you start off on this random ship, you're just a fox, you're nobody, and then this tells the backstory and then the full story of Star Fox. That could be it as well. Legend of Zelda, you wake up in some random town, someone tells you, hey, you gotta go and save your sister. Okay, you go get up, go save your sister, and all of a sudden things start to unfold bad, and then Zelda, boom, it's Zelda. So that's what that could be, because Link could be the noble non-hero yet, because that's really when you start off a story. You just introduce some random character, and you're like, oh, okay, this is a random character. Get going. I guess you're going to start off your adventure. You're going to go and save the princess. But first, your sister got kidnapped. Oh, no. So that really does open up that idea. And then Metroid. Well, it could be Metroid. It could be the same thing. Like, every story starts off a little bit different. This time, you're sort of like playing Halo. If you watched any of the Halo movies, that could be it. So you're a super soldier, and you make your way over, you find some cool armor, and then you keep going and save the galaxy. That could be very well it. As you can tell, I didn't really play that many Metroid games. I played one, Metroid Prime 4, and I feel like that one was the worst one overall. Then we can have the Princess Peach. Well, you're Princess Peach, so this is going to be the backstory from the Super Mario Bros. Movie. That'd be really interesting. Overall, what are your thoughts on this? Of course, yeah, that's right, Pokemon. Well, technically we already have a series, so I don't know, a series / movie. And for the Donkey Kong movie, it could be what happened. How did he become like the king of the tribe of the Donkey Kongs? So it would sort of be like a different path, and then you watch that movie, and then it makes sense for the first Super Mario Bros. Movie. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope that you enjoyed. What are your thoughts on the Super Nintendo Cinematic Universe? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.